Hello, this is Angela with Pucker's Permaculture. It's another beautiful afternoon here in Portland, Oregon in Zone 8B. I was spending as much time as I could today out of doors. I've actually been sitting in the rocker here and listening to an audiobook because we're about to have a really awful heat wave. So when I know the weather is balmy and sunny and just beautiful with a gentle breeze, I want to soak up as much time out of doors as I possibly can. So as long as I'm still enjoying sitting here on the porch, I thought I would take a few minutes and talk about a subject that I've mentioned briefly in the past, I've covered very briefly in the past, but I think permaculture and any sustainability movement needs to really focus and design and push for accommodation, inclusion, and accessibility for folks with disabilities. And in particular today, I want to break down this tweet which has been making the rounds on social media and the accompanying viral memes and other social media posts that are of the same genre. So in a local food group, this meme got posted this week. It's a tweet that is actually not originally done by Jim Carrey. It has been misappropriated to him. It is a criticism of Whole Foods stocking oranges pre-peeled in plastic containers. Now, the environmentalist in me is just having an absolute fit looking at a post like that. And the comments on this post were in many ways understandable because they are my kind of knee-jerk reaction in the first place, which is oranges have a natural packaging. It's called a peel. They don't need to be put in single-use plastic containers. That's so wasteful. Plastic pollution, microplastic pollution is such a huge problem for all of us globally on the planet, but particularly folks in developing nations where wealthy countries tend to ship their garbage. So many of the reactions to this post, and when I've seen it in the past attributed to the correct author, I totally understand. In fact, when this tweet originally went out, it went so viral that Whole Foods actually took this product off the market. And that was like a big yay success for environmentalists. We stopped Whole Foods, which is supposed to be a corporation that is supporting a sustainable lifestyle, but really is just, it's Amazon, and it's also just an aesthetic that they've packaged. It's an image of a sustainable lifestyle that isn't actually truly sustainable. It is taking consumerism and using it to sell you something that feels good. It feels like sustainability without actually having to have it, aka greenwashing. So folks who really cared about environmentalism and cared about plastic pollution just were overjoyed. Like, yes, this is what we need. We need to speak out against these kinds of corporate, unnecessary, environmentally damaging behaviors, and we need to pressure them to take their products off the market and to just put oranges out as they are in their natural rind and let folks buy them and peel them at home themselves. That is better for the environment. Yes, that's absolutely true. But one thing we need to think about pretty deeply and take some time to introspect is that when we're looking at a container of a pre-peeled orange, those of us who have the ability to easily peel an orange are seeing something that is offensive, that feels wasteful, that feels unnecessary. But someone who does not have the physical ability to peel an orange looks at a pre-peeled orange in the store and says, oh my gosh, I can actually enjoy an orange, right? Like, I have access to this fruit when I didn't previously because of the way it is being sold to me. When we look at environmental justice movements, they have to contain justice. And I think a lot of times, and I know I was very guilty of this in my early 20s, I think a lot of times environmental movements can focus so heavily on the earth care and completely ignore the people care. And those of us who practice permaculture, we are following the three ethics of earth care, people care, and fair share. And the latter two really apply when we're looking at accessibility for folks with disabilities. And we can't be myopic as folks who care about the planet and say, I'm only focusing on earth care, and that's all that matters. Because when we do that, what we do is we abandon the cause of justice. Environmental justice cannot be just without seeking to have equity and access for all people. We can't have environmental justice if it harms certain segments of the population. We have to look at the cost benefit. We have to look at weighing what is the harm that is caused by this action versus what is the good that is done. And when we look at an action and perhaps it is something really positive, but it has a detrimental side effect, we need to say, how can we mitigate that? How can we design better? When we're looking at trying to reduce an environmental harm, we can't also be increasing a harm to humans at the same time, particularly those who do not have equal access and those who are systematically and historically discriminated against and not provided with fair accommodation and accessibility to things. So I guess what I'm saying is when we're pursuing environmental justice, we can't say, yay, we've done a good for the planet. I'm not saying Whole Foods should not have pulled their product off the shelf. What I'm saying is we can't say, yes, we did it. We got them to take their product down. We did right by the environment. Let's pat ourselves on the back and go about our business. Because when we do that without thinking carefully through, and permaculture is using careful, observant, patient, honed design, when we neglect that and fail to look at what the ramifications of our actions are down the road, how our choice to remove this product has impacted people and the planet in ways that we initially didn't think about, we can do unintentional harm that is real. When we look at accessibility, unfortunately in our society, a lot of the ways that accessibility is achieved is through plastic products, is through often disposable products. And so the solution is actually not to pull those things off the market altogether. It's to say, how can we, if we can't have these things because it's too harmful for the planet and it's a convenience item for most folks, what can we in turn design to maintain access for the folks who need it? So our job is not done when we pull off those polluting products off the market. We've only gotten halfway there. What substitution that is truly sustainable can we put in place to maintain accessibility for folks who need it? And if we cannot yet design something that is accessible, that is also sustainable, then how can we make sure that the folks who need access to perhaps a drinking straw, perhaps something that is pre-packaged and pre-cut up and pre-prepared, how can we maintain access for that small percentage of folks in the interim? Because what we're looking at here is, again, that balancing out. What is the harm reduction overall? And saying, what is the cost benefit analysis here? We are not doing right as folks pursuing environmental justice if we don't have justice for people as well. Again, particularly marginalized people, people with disabilities. So let me just speak to the criticism someone raised in this thread. Like, as a disabled person, I cannot peel an orange myself. I really appreciate products like these being on the market. I don't have a caregiver who can do this for me. Literally the only way I can enjoy these things is if they're prepackaged in easily openable containers, because I can't hold a knife. I have to have these if I want to enjoy these foods. The answers of, if you're disabled, you should just do without. You should find someone who can cut it up and prepare it for you. Or, this product was not intentionally marketed to you in the first place, and therefore we have a right to pull it off the market. Those are all the wrong answers. Those are not the right way to view this discussion at all. The right way to view this discussion is, how can we maintain your access to the foods that you need and deserve? I've talked a lot on this channel about how I believe that wholesome, nutritionally dense fruits and vegetables, whole foods that are grown in a sustainable manner, raised in a sustainable manner, should not be the privilege of the wealthy. They should be accessible to everybody. And that some foods do have more nutritional value than others. And it is unacceptable for those of us in permaculture to say only those with deep pockets can afford those foods. This is the same argument. This is the same, a different iteration of the same idea. Folks with disabilities deserve access to nutritionally dense food. They deserve access to fruits and vegetables. They deserve access to things that they can't necessarily prepare for themselves. So we as a society, we as able-bodied people have an obligation to create solutions. Permaculture is solution-based. We aren't saying this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. We are saying, I see a problem in front of me. Let's find a pathway toward a solution. Let's go all the way through so that we create systems that fix problems, that are workable and resilient. So it doesn't matter that Whole Foods or other companies, my local grocery store carries cut up cantaloupe and pineapple, which, let me add in here, when I say folks with disabilities, I'm also including the elderly. My dad can no longer use a knife. I can't visit him every day. I visit 3 or 4 times a week. I can't be responsible to come over and prep all of his meals. It is unfair to ask him to do without cantaloupe, which he loves very much, just because our system has failed to support the elderly and folks with disabilities in a sustainable, equitable, and fair way. So yes, sometimes my dad does order from grocery delivery containers of pre-cut fruit so he can enjoy it. I don't see anything wrong with that in terms of what he's doing. Again, I always stress, criticize the system, not the individual stuck in the system. It sucks that the only way my dad sometimes has access to the foods he enjoys is when they are packaged in unsustainable packaging. Much like Costco and other large bargain stores love to package all of their fruit in clamshell plastic, which in Portland you can't recycle at all. You cannot put that clear clamshell plastic in your recycle bin. Recycling is a joke, and that's a whole other story for another video.
It's really important that we be able to distinguish between single-use plastics that increase accessibility for folks with disabilities and when they are just a nonsensical part of our consumer culture, like these images here. If we want to begin removing plastic waste from our systems, let's start with those times, those many, many times it is used, simply because it is a product of consumerism and it brings no benefit to anybody, or when it is particularly something that benefits the extremely wealthy, like this $21 strawberry here, carefully nestled in styrofoam. As we're designing for a more resilient future, let's be careful to distinguish between those single-use plastics which serve absolutely no purpose and seem nonsensical and those that can improve accessibility.
So let's be careful that what we're doing is not marginalizing and reducing access for folks with disabilities. And if we want to rightly criticize the system that is using convenience packaging, single-use plastic as a way to make more profit, let's go ahead and criticize that, but we cannot do it without also providing access. I talk about good, better, best a lot. Good is removing the single-use plastic from the market. We've got to do better. We've got to do better. We've got to find a solution to still make these foods accessible to folks who have disabilities. There is a historic lack of people care, a historic presence of ableism in environmental causes, and permaculture cannot be party to that. It's very easy to forget that disabled people exist in our society. It's very easy to forget what it must be like to try and navigate society when you are able-bodied and you have no intellectual, cognitive, or physical disabilities whatsoever. When you have folks in your family, loved ones, or you yourself become disabled, all of a sudden the barriers that are everywhere in society become ever present that you didn't notice before at all. And so we've got to, as permaculturists, not be so navel-gazing that we only think about our own needs, our own wants, and our own pet causes, right? Environmentalism can be a pet cause for people. And we extend our design to include everyone in our community, because we can't have true resilience if we don't care for everybody. We can't have people care if we don't care for all people, not just the young and the able-bodied. We've got to design better. So I would love to hear about solutions that corporations are coming up with. I would love for us to pressure corporations to come up with solutions that continue to provide access for folks with disabilities. I would love for us as a society to be able to push back against single-use plastic without also removing very important accommodations from the lives of folks with disabilities. We've got to do both at the same time, and permaculture provides us a design network, a design framework in order to be able to begin crafting those solutions. So if you have thoughts on how we can reduce our single-use plastic that is rampant in American culture, rampant and makes me sick to my stomach, if we can do that, how can we do that while also caring for folks in our communities who needed and benefited from those products. Thanks for letting me rant a little bit today. I hope that these meme reviews are helpful. I get a lot of feedback that when I try and break open a meme or talk about reimagining a meme in a way that is more fleshed out, more complex, that those are helpful for folks. And I know I get some pushback and criticism like, oh, Angela, you're just taking this so seriously. But for me, maybe I am a little bit uptight as a person, but for me, when I look at permaculture design, I want to be solution-based. When I look at these memes that really profess positive and earnest sentiments that folks want to do better, they can be so narrow in focus and missing so many of those details that when they get perpetuated, they can perpetuate harm. But if we talk about them and break them open and think about what are the actual ramifications all the way down when we take this action, what would this look like in real life for everybody on the planet if we enacted this thing in this meme, or if we took away this thing in this meme? We can start to design for solutions. We are complicated people. Society is complex. We live on such a beautiful, diverse, and intricately interconnected planet that we can't have simple actions in tweets or memes without there being ripples that fan out all across the pond. And the thing is that we have such wonderful and imaginative and creative brains that we can come up with multifaceted solutions. We can come up with solutions that don't cause harm, solutions that are long-term, that build resilience for all people and for our communities. So I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I will be back very soon for my permaculture garden. Thanks.